Have you ever heard of the Napoleon of the Sudan? It's a pretty bold title, right? But for one man, it was a title earned through decades of relentless struggle against some of the most powerful empires of his time. This is the story of Abd al-Qadir al-Jazari, a name that echoes through the history of North Africa, a symbol of resistance and a master of guerrilla warfare. Born in 1808 in what is now Algeria, Abd al-Qadir was a scholar, a poet, and a spiritual leader. He was not a man who sought war, but when France invaded his homeland in 1830, war found him. At just 24 years old, he was chosen by the tribes to lead the resistance. Imagine that pressure, a young man, barely an adult, suddenly responsible for the fate of his people against the might of a modern European army. Now, the French expected a quick, easy victory. They had superior firepower, better training, and a massive military machine. What they didn't count on was Abd al-Qadir's genius. He knew he couldn't win in a conventional, head-on battle. So, what did he do? He rewrote the rules of engagement. He united the often feuding tribes under a single banner, creating a mobile, elusive force that struck like lightning and vanished just as quickly into the rugged Algerian landscape. This wasn't just random raiding, it was a sophisticated strategy. Abd al-Qadir's fighters would attack French supply lines, harass their columns, and pick off isolated garrisons. They used their intimate knowledge of the terrain, the mountains, the deserts, the hidden valleys as their greatest weapon. The French soldiers, accustomed to open battlefields, found themselves fighting ghosts. They would march for days under the harsh sun, only to be ambushed when they were most exhausted. Abd al-Qadir created a state on the move, complete with its own administration, justice system, and even weapons factories, all while constantly evading the enemy. For over 15 years, he held the French at bay. Think about that, a force of tribal warriors, using guerrilla tactics, tied down a massive imperial army for more than a decade. The French generals, some of whom had served under Napoleon Bonaparte himself, were stunned by his military brilliance. They poured more and more troops into Algeria, resorting to brutal scorched earth tactics, burning villages, and destroying crops to deny Abd al-Qadir's forces any support. Eventually, the sheer numbers and overwhelming brutality of the French campaign took their toll. Faced with famine and the devastation of his people, Abd al-Qadir made the difficult decision to surrender in 1847 to save them from further suffering, but his legacy was already cemented. His strategies of mobile warfare and uniting disparate groups against a common, more powerful enemy would be studied by military leaders for generations to come. He wasn't just a warrior, he was an innovator who proved that the will to be free, combined with brilliant strategy, could challenge even the greatest of empires. His story is a powerful reminder that history is often shaped not by the strongest armies, but by the most determined hearts. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this piece of history as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of incredible figures from around the world. See you in the next video.